It must be spring because GardenPalooza is here. The 19th annual GardenPalooza is back, and on today's episode we talk with Brian of Bauman's Farm and Garden to hear about all the great plant vendors you'll find there. We also talk about some great Dramm garden tools, and we get some tips on fertilizing with organics from Espoma. Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru in Salem, Oregon.
Here at Capital Subaru, we are family. From you, our customers, our coworkers, and even our actual family members work here. This is my son, Casey. We're generations ahead of the competition, and we're always working to keep you and your family moving.
We're here for you. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
All the support you need, from sales and financing to service and parts. We'll be here for you for generations to come.
And generations after that.
I'm Blake.
And I'm Casey. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
Where it's
your way on the Parkway.
Welcome to the Garden Time Podcast. We're based in the Pacific Northwest of the United States in a Zone 8 region. This zone deals with plants that can survive in 10 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer. I'm producer Jeff Gustin with your hosts Judy Elaruzo and Ryan Seeley. Welcome to Garden Time. Today we are talking about something that's very near and dear to our hearts, and that is GardenPalooza. GardenPalooza started many, many years ago. The Garden Time show, before it was a Garden Time show, GardenPalooza was happening when I worked at Channel 12 and worked there, and I helped organize it. And we are now in our 19th year. And Judy, you've been to nearly everyone. Explain to people what GardenPalooza is.
It is a frenzy of buying plants for the new season.
Definitely, frenzy is a good word.
It's a kickoff for this season. It gets everybody excited that spring is finally here. I don't know. It's just so much fun. You see old friends and vendors that you've gone and bought plants from year after year, and so they're friends too. So I don't know. It's just a crazy day.
It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to figure out how long Bauman Farms has been going. We've been doing it almost since it started.
I think so, yeah.
I was surprised when I heard 19 years though. It feels like a while ago, but
you were a child.
That's when his children were children.
Yes, they were. That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, the little guys.
It's so much fun that everything is all in one place. Everybody's together. All the garden centers that you kind of enjoy checking in on throughout the year, everybody is all in one spot, and it just it's the kickoff for us for spring.
Oh, great.
That's how we've looked at it for years.
Yeah, so it's cool that we're here now this year. Last year too.
We've loved going to other places. It's been a lot of fun. I feel like Bauman Farms is really set up to handle everybody and make it enjoyable, because when you put a couple thousand people together in one spot, it can be a headache sometimes. And I think we've really over the years figured out how to make parking smooth and easy. The plant pickup last year went really, really well, so that even though it's a frenzy, even though there are tons of people here, the goal for us at Bauman Farms is that it's a really enjoyable day. That you're not waiting in too long of lines. The parking was easy. All of those things that make a big event sometimes difficult. At Bauman Farms, we're excited to have everyone.
You mentioned parking. The very first year we did it, when I was at KPTV, it was at the research station in Wilsonville.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a problem with parking because it's a research station. It's not set up for crowds. We had people parking in Charbonneau and walking. A half mile just to get to the event. And as a research station, people were walking through research projects, not necessarily the best thing. No. We moved to Hoffman Dairy for a few years. Fur Point Farm, you were deeply involved in Fur Point Farm. It's just gotten to the point where it's just grown. And where naturally would it end up? But Bauman's Farm and Garden, you guys are used to doing large things. People can come here and experience cider festivals and fall harvest festivals. And you always have the people, you're set up so that people can come and have a wonderful day, families included.
Absolutely. From the animal barn that's kind of like right next door to where all the booths are going to be set up. So the kids can go and play. There's the playground there, so the kids are playing, enjoying the animals. Mom is shopping. Dad is watching the kids. However it works best for you.
We're having a cider.
We're having a cider. There will be the cider bar ready there. It's awesome. We are so excited. We've been working on a new outdoor space. Last year, it was kind of in our minds on how we wanted to do it, but it wasn't quite ready in time for GardenPalooza. And this year, we've put a ton of work into creating a brand new outdoor space. So we're calling it our backyard. It's a beautiful, nice yard area. We've taken, Grandma and Grandpa's farm is about a mile from here. That's where the farm was originally started in 1895. And we actually have 3 different grain bins now, grain silos that we've moved from the original farm over to the backyard area. So we're gonna be serving food out of them. There's space underneath them to, just in case we have a little cooler weather, you know, I mean, it should be a really nice place to enjoy GardenPalooza.
Nice.
And for people that don't know, GardenPalooza this year is April Fool's Day, April 1st, week before Easter, so you can come and do your shopping for Easter gifts from 8 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And we have nearly 40 vendors that are signed up, and garden art and plants, tons of plants. And so what are your favorite vendors? Ryan was here last year.
Yeah, I was here last year, and that's the fun part of GardenPalooza, is like Brian was saying, is just the amount of vendors that are here and the wide range of products that you can purchase.
Absolutely.
So it's just not all plants or just not all annuals. But you have the the rusty yard art kind of thing, or the glass blown things, or wind chimes, or there's just a little of something for everybody. Plus you have the food. Right, so it's kind of like you're saying, you can spend a full day either in the GardenPalooza part, going to all the different vendors and seeing all your friends that you've met along the years, and then you pop over to the nursery side, and you have everything that Bauman has to offer all the time.
Yeah, I think it's, like I was saying earlier, like all the nurseries coming to one spot. Not all these nurseries are open year round. And this is really the kickoff, your first chance to see some of the stuff that they've been working on it. And real specialty nursery, Hydrangeas Plus with all of our hydrangeas and stuff, Seabrights with all their awesome shade perennials, N&M Herb Nursery. Rosie always has some new great plants that she's excited to share. I'm hoping that I'm gonna have enough time to kind of peruse everybody early, so I can get my sneak peek on what I need for my garden, because you won't see this anywhere else.
And sometimes these people don't have a spot that they're open up all the time. They're only doing shows like this. So if you're not traveling around doing the farmer market circuit or something, this is kind of some of the only time that you're going to get to see some of these people.
Absolutely.
And you always have specials. So what do you have special for GardenPalooza Day?
I'm always looking. In fact, today I knew you guys were coming. I was all excited. So I'm walking through the greenhouses, and we have some really nice perennials that I'm excited. And I got a little excited, so I planted a lot of them. So I'm like, this is perfect. It's a great time for GardenPalooza. We have this beautiful Spanish lavender on the side of us here. This is a Spanish lavender. It almost looks like, like the little bumblebees on the top. They're in full bloom right now. We started them in the greenhouse, so they're a little ahead of outside game, but I've hardened them all off. So I put them outside, so they're ready to go outside in your garden. They are $14.99, and then we're gonna do buy one, get one free at GardenPalooza. So we're doing those. Are you familiar with this oregano, Judy?
Is it the golden one?
This is the golden. It's called Drops of Jupiter.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful, almost like a ground cover oregano, but the flowers in the summertime are phenomenal. So you have this really chartreusey foliage, and then these kind of bright purple airy flowers that come up from it. And it's super hardy, super easy to take care of. I find that it will even work in spots where it's a little wet sometimes, and some other perennials don't, will rot or not take out. Lord knows we've had enough rain this year. This would be one that would do really well. These are $15.99, and they're buy one, get one free as well.
And it's a great pollinator plant too.
Yes, pollinators, absolutely.
I have to admit, when we were setting up all the cameras and stuff to do this, I touched those 2 plants in particular. It is amazing, the fragrance, just brushing up against them. It's fantastic. So not only do you get the beautiful color and the wonderful foliage, you get that fragrance, and it is hard to replace anything. You can't spray that out of a bottle.
Yes, absolutely. And we're finding gardeners, we're so busy. There's so many things going on. Perennials are becoming so important to home gardeners because we just don't want to be planting everything year after year. These are some of my favorite perennials that are going to look great throughout the summer, easy to take care of.
And staggering your blooms, like the lavender's coming in and having color now
Yep.
with a ton of bud behind it. So you're going to have several months of bloom time, and then the oregano is going to kick in.
In the summertime.
Right.
So yeah,
No,
I have them both in my yard at home. I love them.
It's maybe that's why you have greenhouses full of them.
Yes,
Because you love them.
I got excited.
You love them that much, right?
So I'm like, oh yeah, bring me more. And there's a lot of them, so there's plenty to go around. Come GardenPalooza, but I would still. People often ask me like, what are tips for GardenPalooza? Like, I've never been before. We have customers come all the time, and like, I've never come. What is it like? And come here early.
Sure.
You want to be like, you don't have to be here at the door at 7:30, like waiting to get in. It's not like that kind of busy, but you want to be here in the morning. Between 8 and 10, I think is a good time to arrive because it's going to take you a couple hours to go through everything. And by 2 o'clock, people are kind of selling out of stuff. They're done. If you wait till after lunch to come, I think you would be happier if you came earlier in the day.
Yeah, you're gonna be sad.
Yeah, I think the best price is the price of admission.
There you go. Yeah,
you go.
it's pretty good, right?
And parking.
To be able to have that kind of
Yes,
access
right.
to that much material and just in the setting, and you're not paying to get in. Like so many shows that you're paying a parking fee, you're paying an admittance fee to get into the building before you even purchase anything. You've spent all your cash just to get in.
Right.
But this, you can come up, just show up.
Which is great, and just hang out. And if you find something, great. If you don't, like, woohoo! Look, I got to
Right.
see all the cool stuff for
Yeah,
spring.
right.
The other kind of tip, I feel like I'm jumping ahead here, but this was coming to my mind, Jeff.
Sure.
So, one of the things that you have all these different vendors here, right? So, one of the things that I think is unusual about like other shows you go to, like you'll have one place where you go and purchase everything. At GardenPalooza, you want to purchase it at the vendor.
Oh, good.
Because I think a lot of times, even last year was our first year doing it here, we had a lot of people walking around, well, where do I buy this? Where's the checkout? And I think you need to go, these are individual nurseries that are here. Bauman Farms is kind of, I would say, kind of at the end of the boulevard of all the different booths. And we have checkouts and stuff, but the individual nurseries that are here, you're going to check out with them individually. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I would say everyone takes card, I think, but I would bring some cash just in case. It's easier.
Right.
You don't have to wait in line.
Right.
It's not necessary, but.
And you know what? You've been a supporter of the industry. We've tried to be a supporter of the industry. And these are, like we mentioned, these are small nurseries.
Yeah.
And so when you come here, you're supporting a small local business. And we don't charge a percentage of every sale. When they sell something, they keep all the money from that sale. So thank you so much for Bauman's for letting us all be here. But it's one of those where it's if you go to another large sale, that they're going to pay for whatever venue they're at, and that means you pay, and part of that percentage of what you pay doesn't go back to the vendor. It goes to the facility. And so you guys are great to allow everybody to be here. And when people come, free admission, free parking.
Yep.
As you mentioned, it's get here early. I'd also say, look out the window.
Yes.
Say, wear your boots.
Dress for Oregon. I mean,
Wear
it
a
is
coat,
not
raincoat.
rain or shine. This is going to take place, and we always have had people that show up in high heels and everything else. It's gravel. It's not all paved, but a lot of it is undercover. But there's also places you can duck in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
be out of the rain if a shower passes through, which happened last year. I think we had a shower in the afternoon.
We did.
It passed through. Sunshine came
It was
out.
beautiful,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It gave us a
It
chance.
ended up being like the nicest day of April. Last year it seemed like it just rained the rest of the month. So I'm happy. But rain or shine, the other thing, we have some wagons, but people are encouraged to bring their own wagons and carts to kind of go through. That's totally fine here. It is gravel, so whatever kind of wheels you have, you just know you're going to be going across gravel.
I know last year some people were bringing shopping carts out. Those wheels are not designed for gravel.
Yeah,
so if you
And
so it was more of a struggle, I think, for people to try to get the carts full of plants out using the shopping carts. So use the available carts that are designed for gravel, or bring your own. We have plenty of room for that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is Bauman's, not only, we have all these wonderful vendors here. You have the things for kids that we talked about.
Yep.
You have a wonderful bakery. And
Great.
I know this almost did not make
We
it
are
on
like
the-
drooling here,
Yes.
Brian.
Played it really good looking. Yeah.
It's a good thing I am on the move all the time, because if I wasn't, I would be 100, well over, I'd be way too much. But the bakery is awesome. The bakery will be going full bore, ready to see the donuts will be coming off fresh in the morning for people to get bags of donuts and stuff bright and early that day. And then the other thing, so we're always doing something new at Bauman Farms. People often like, how do you describe Bauman Farms? And I always tell people, like, there was no master plan involved with Bauman Farms. It was like, oh, we tried this. This is good. Let's do more of this. Like, you want to do hard cider? Sure, why not? We'll do hard cider. One of the new things we're doing now at the farm too is we have a cafe that makes a lot of sandwiches and soups every day. In fact, where we're talking right now, my sister's making the soups downstairs, and it smells so good.
It does smell nice.
Yes. And so that will be running. So we'll have food available that day at the farm as well. So if you don't need a sack or something, there'll be something to do. And then the hard cider, the farm is set up like a winery. So you can get a glass of cider and walk around and go shopping and hang out, sit down at a picnic table with your family. We want there to be something for everyone.
And you have produce. I mean, it's like a regular grocery store. You have produce. You have other kind of food items that are available. Plus, you have gifts. Yeah, and so
Houseplants.
things that are seasonal. I mentioned Easter is a week from GardenPalooza. There's a lot of seasonal stuff that people can come. So even for those people that don't love plants, you can come here and still get a gift that you can take the following week to your family get-together.
There's all kinds of stuff here. Sometimes it's people ask me like, "Well, what do you do for work?" And I'm like, how do I describe everything that we do in one word? I can't.
No.
Like, there's just so much going on. It's what makes my life like exciting. I'm never doing the same thing for long. So yeah, I think it's great. I tell people I'm a farmer, but I don't. My dad's the farmer. I don't know. Like, there's so much going on.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
magician. I'll add that to
I'm
the
pretty sure you've been on a
business card.
tractor. So your family's been here for decades. I mean, you're a century. Your grandparents were here, a century farm. In fact, if you come later in the summer, the peaches are grown here. The fruit for the cider is grown here. A lot of the stuff that you buy in the store is grown here. So how can people find Bauman Farms? First of all, online.
BaumanFarms.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, all of those social media as well. Just type in Bauman Farms. It should come up. Our kind of sister company, Bauman Cider Company, is run by my cousin. And she does such a great job. A lot of times that'll come up when you're searching Bauman Farms, the cider company, but the cider company is actually separate from Bauman's Farm and Garden. And that's where our store and retail is at. So you can find it online. I always like to tell people, like, our location to me is like our biggest disadvantage, because we're on the way to nothing. Like, I feel like, it's not like you'd be driving by and be like, woohoo, there's Bauman Farms. But at the same time, when you come to Bauman Farms, you're going to the farm, which is also our best advantage, because you're coming here. Are we that far away from anything? No, it's not that far. So if you're coming down from I-5, if you take the Woodburn exit, you just go 2.5 miles east to 99E, and then 2.5 miles south to Howell Prairie Road. So 5 miles. And everyone goes, well, where's Jervis? Like, I've never heard of Jervis. Gervais, whatever.
Pronounce it.
Yes. And so I'm like, I always tell everybody Woodburn. Do you know where the Woodburn Company stores are? Yes. Oh, yes. No problem.
Not
We're
far.
5 minutes from there.
Yeah.
So if you're in Portland, it's less than an hour, 45 minutes to get here. If you're in Eugene, about an hour and a half.
And you're right between Salem. I mean, people can take the Brooks exit.
You could, if you're going the other way, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's a day in the country. I mean, I think it's a whole full day. I mean, come out and be in the country, be in rural Oregon, and have a great time.
It's a destination. I know my parents come down every few weeks just for lunch.
That's awesome.
Oh, how nice.
They'll come down, and they started doing it after I was talking to them about what I've been doing. They're like, we were down there the other day and had the best sandwich.
That's
And
awesome.
have a sandwich, and now they go out. They were down last week again. So
Great.
just to go for a little drive and spend an afternoon coming down and see what's changing, because
It is
it's
always
always
changing.
changing.
It is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the cider donuts, we pick up an extra bag when we're here, and it goes in the freezer. and just a
Nice.
couple seconds in the microwave, and it's like you're back on the farm. I'm sorry. It's just delicious. In fact, our daughter came over to do some painting for us, and kind of to help us out. And boy, that donut bag was real light in the freezer. I don't know what happened, but so she was able to enjoy some of the donuts. One of the companies that has supported GardenPalooza and Garden Time for many, many years is Dramm. And so they're presenting this year. And they sent us some tools. So at GardenPalooza, if you come to GardenPalooza, you can spend money, but you could also have the chance to walk away with a gift.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
every half hour, we'll be doing giveaways. And so, Judy, what do we normally give away?
Oh, so we give away, this year we're giving away Bauman's gift cards so that you can come back and spend them at the store and in the nursery. Yep. That's great. And Dramm. And then we usually have the grand prize is from Garden Gallery Ironworks, which is a beautiful arbor this year. So come and say hello and ask your questions and then enter to win some of the wonderful gifts.
Yeah, so the Bauman's gift card, we have $25 gift cards we'll be giving away every half hour. The Dramm tools, we will be giving one of those away every half hour while supplies last. And you mentioned the Garden Gallery Ironworks arbor. Don Sprague and the people down there at Garden Gallery will have a booth here, but they are known for their wonderful structural pieces that you can get. And they are giving away an arbor, $850 value. And so you can come to the Garden Time booth and enter. You can go to the Garden Gallery Ironworks booth and enter. And at the end, they will be drawing a name, and somebody walks away with that. We've given away arbors before and planting tables. Just
raised beds.
Incredible stuff that they have, and you can get a chance to see it here. Plus, they have a store in Hubbard you can stop by.
And their quality of Dawn stock is unbelievable. It is. It's made right here.
Yes, it's not shipped from China. This is locally made,
locally made, and it's
heavy duty.
It's going to last forever. And it's not that the cheesy stuff that you assemble out of a box.
And Bauman's is a family business. Garden Gallery Ironworks, another family business here, Hubbard, Woodburn area. So the garden tools that we got from Dramm, we have a couple here. So I'm going to pass one of these down now. The wands here, we have them in our house, but Brian, you guys use.
We use these all over the farm. Every greenhouse that we're growing in, this is what we have to water all of our plants. This is what we use because it's such good quality, because it holds up so well. It's I'm looking at all of these now, seeing them stay. They're so good, and they're probably excited, but I'm gonna go place an order to have these available in our store during GardenPalooza because they're great.
You know, the label says professional's choice, and it really is.
Yeah.
I've worked in greenhouses for 25 plus years, and we have always used Dramm watering wands at any nursery that we've ever worked at because they do hold up.
And the watering wands are just, you can see there's two different sizes here, but they now have the one touch, which is great. So you can still be able to shut it off. You don't have to have it running all the time. You're saving water when you're using it. These have just the regular rain nozzles on them. Some of the garden centers you can go to, you can get them with the adjustable nozzles. So that way you can go from a stream to a spray to a mist or
to a mist. These are kind of the traditional water breaker that soft enough to water your baskets and your pots and your yard. It's a good all-purpose, but they do have the.
And then what they've done in the last couple of years is they've done pruning tools, and so this is a compact shear, and then we also have the regular bypass pruner, which looks like a very heavy-duty bypass pruner. Bypass pruners, as we mentioned before, that's where the blade bypasses and actually makes a clean cut. So when it's not an anvil cut where it kind of pinches your stems. This one here is a bypass. It actually makes a clean cut. And these are spectacular.
And the weight of this, you can feel the quality of the metal that's done with it. And it's a little smaller handled than a Felco, so it can be a little bit easier to hold.
Won't be so tiring on your hands.
And what I like about the Dramm line anyway is the kind of the fun rainbow of
colors.
colors. Everything is color coordinated, so you can pick whatever your favorite color is. The blue, green, yellow, red, whatever, and you can get the matching wand, the matching, they have sprinkler heads, they have hoses, they have, so you can have kind of color coordinate your gardening tools.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a really nice one too. I think for deadheading is really nice because it has this really fine blade.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to cut flowers to bring in, it's a lot smaller than this one. I think this one's more heavy duty for if you're going to really do some pruning, but this is really nice to have too.
Well, we just did a story with Portland Nursery.
Yeah, right.
And
We did.
they were talking about this is one of their favorites,
Right,
is these
right.
small ones. For
Yeah.
If you're going to pick one thing for just kind of doing some basic cutback and pruning in your yard, that's probably a great one for that if you're not doing heavy duty.
Right,
for-
bigger
the compact
branches.
So before we take a break, we're going to come back. We're going to talk with another guest in a little bit. Before we take a break, is there anything that we've left out about GardenPalooza, except GardenPalooza.com is the website if you want to go to find out more information. So when people come here, they're going to have a great time. They're going to have the opportunity to find plants they're not going to find anywhere else.
Yes.
They're going to have, you can bring your family, the kids can have a blast when they're here. Anything else that that we've left out? I'm just trying to think. It's
no, I
there's
think
so
we've
much
got-
that goes on. I always feel like I'm leaving something out. So
Again, I'd say get here early. It's going to be a fantastic day, and it's going to take time. There are so many vendors, so much stuff to see, it's really, I can't tell you the number of people coming into our garden center that are ready for spring. This winter has been, it just feels long and cold.
It has been.
And they're ready, and it's so exciting to see sunflowers already starting, and our greenhouses are filling up quickly. It should be a lot of fun.
yeah, and you can get a jump start on some of your hanging baskets. You're going to have a great display here of those. Rosie always gets me excited because she has plants that are almost tropical in their feel. It gets me into the summer mood right away. And even if I have to keep them inside the living room for a couple weeks before I move them out, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So,
We've all done
Brian, thank you so much, and thank you to
Oh
your
my God, I'm
family.
so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you to your family for hosting. This
Can't
is
wait.
now the permanent home of GardenPalooza. We're just happy to partner with you on this. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to bring Carla in. We're going to talk about Espoma. And Espoma is going to be at GardenPalooza. And we're going to talk about some of the products that you can use to get your garden going and keep it going all through the season. We'll be right back.
Here at Capital Subaru, we are family. From you, our customers, our coworkers, and even our actual family members work here. This is my son, Casey. We're generations ahead of the competition, and we're always working to keep you and your family moving.
We're here for you. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
All the support you need, from sales and financing to service and parts. We'll be here for you for generations to come.
And generations after that.
I'm Blake,
And I'm Casey. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
where it's
Your way on the Parkway.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Portland Nursery, where our passion for plants has kept us rooted in this incredible community. A lot has changed since we first opened our doors, but through it all, we've remained family-owned and operated, dedicated to providing our neighbors the largest selection of the highest quality plants Portland has to offer. With hundreds of new plants arriving each week, you're guaranteed to find something exciting and unique. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, at 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
Dramm is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. Dramm products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Dramm for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
GardenPalooza is back. Join us on April 1st at Bauman's Farm and Garden. See over 30 plant growers and garden vendors. There's free parking and free admission. Enter to win a garden arbor and more. GardenPalooza, Saturday, April 1st at Bauman's Farm and Garden in Woodburn. And welcome back to Garden Time. We're talking about GardenPalooza today, and we're here with Carla Daniels from Espoma. They're going to be at GardenPalooza. Before we get started, the one thing we didn't talk about was coupons. And so at the GardenPalooza.com website, there is a page. Not only can you find a map to GardenPalooza and all the information, there's a page, and there are specific deals that are happening at GardenPalooza for that day only. And you can print that page and bring it with you and get even more off of plants and wonderful things from participating vendors. And Espoma is one of the leading companies for garden products. And you guys will have a deal as well, but we're not going to, people have to go to the website to figure that one out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Spoiler alert.
We talk about, so Espoma is known for their quality products, and you said over 100 years.
Close.
Or
close.
90,
We're
95
close,
or
yeah.
something like that?
We're
Yeah.
at 94 years this year.
Wow.
So still family owned, fourth generation, family owned and operated. 94 years, yeah.
And we were talking about, so we all have our favorite Espoma product. and so for my wife and I, we use the Biotone, the starter, and not just for starting plants. We put that in everything. I mean, it's whenever we're planting. If we're freshening something up, a pot or something, that goes into the pot.
Sure.
But you guys have a full range of products. And what makes Espoma products so much better than others?
You know, people come up to us all the time and say, oh, I love your bags. I know exactly what to buy for every plant that I need. And I always respond as, it's not just a pretty face and not just a pretty bag. I mean, we won lots of awards on our bags, but really we've been doing this for 94 years. I think what makes us a little different, or you know, how we go about business is that we really look at each particular plant grouping and their needs. When we approach our fertilizers, like you were just talking about the Biotone Starter Plus, and people at work, you know, kind of make fun of me because they call it magic in a bag. You know, if you want a big plant, you want a, you know, bigger plant faster, you look at that product. So what we've done with that product is given it the triple whammy. So we've given it a complex blend of a 4-3-3 fertilizer. We've put in mycorrhizal fungi, both endo and ecto, which touch 95% of the plant species out there. So you can use it on anything when you plant it, whether it be a tree or a shrub or herbaceous plant. Veggies, whatever it is, you know, that's gonna, you know, interact with all of those plants. So, and then plus you're gonna have the beneficial microbes. So we go in there and spray the fertilizer with that. So again, you're getting all three of those things. And like the cool kind of wet winter we're having right now, we might be a little bit behind. You know, people wanna get stuff started. So again, we're looking at that as an individual product. Put it in when you plant, get your plant, you know, off to the best start possible in the best way. Then we turn and kind of flip the script a little bit, and we leave the mycorrhizal fungi out of the tones, which gives your gardener the best value. You know, mycorrhizal needs to be in the root zone. You know, it just doesn't propagate itself on the surface. So when you're using this, you go in, and I call it the Espoma two-step. So we're planting with the Biotone, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna choose whatever fertilizer is best for that plant grouping. So what I brought today is kind of what's on people's mind and what they're doing out in the garden. So
what I like is, you know, the packaging is so straightforward as far as
no
the name
confusion.
tells you what you're
Yes.
supposed to be doing.
Right.
Doing with it.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
you're
exactly.
making it so simple for us, and especially for new people, they're so confused. It's like, what should I get? And so if they don't talk to a salesperson, they can figure it out. And so you've really made it nice and easy.
Yes, yeah, you know, and that's really it. Are the absolute all, you know, organic certified? Yes, you know, can you intermingle thing? We have another bag, Plant Tone, which I always say if you want to walk out with one bag, you know, that's the bag to go. But each and every bag is just individually tweaked just the littlest bit. You know, whether it be phosphorus for plants that are blooming, or, you know, bulbs that need a little bit more kick in the pants in your middle number, you know, or plants such as trees and shrubs that might need the first end to be a little higher. So again, each one is just tweaked, that's just that little bit. Right. All sprayed with the same amount of beneficial microbes though, so you're still getting that fantastic package there that's going to be able to access all those nutrients that are in the soil and locked up. But also help with things like disease suppression, help it be healthier for insects and things like that. It even helps with your soil, as for drought tolerance, and you know that's so much in the news right now. You know, every single article I seem to read is, bringing stuff about, drought tolerant gardens or xeriscaping and things like that. Then the importance of making sure that we're being water wise. But when you're using a fertilizer that's adding those things in it, you're just helping that plant access water and nutrients that much more.
Yeah, by having that, that healthy root system
Yes.
and promoting that root, there's more there to kind of absorb the water.
Right.
Be it a wet winter,
Yes.
like we're having now, and
Right.
then turning into a very dry summer. So
Yes.
being able, and that all comes down to establishing a really good root system in that plant.
Right, and as for compaction and things like that, which a lot of times when we get really muddy and wet and things, and then everything compacts a little bit, or we all know those people or have people that want to go in there and start digging a little too early, which,
That's a thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Guilty.
And it's funny, and we were at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, a few, almost a month now ago. Time goes by so fast. And it's so funny how many people came up to our booth and were talking about rejuvenation or soil restoration and getting their soil back into a place, because of them using synthetics for years, or that it's a new build and everything was scraped away and there's nothing there as far as their soil biology. So, again, what's important is that soil web, and that we're adding those, those beneficial microbes to the soil to then, interact with your plants and make better soil structure and all those things.
I think that's a big thing too, is like people say, I'm going to buy a fertilizer, I'm going to throw it in the ground. And this goes beyond that. This is, like you said, it's creating a healthy home. You can throw anything in the ground.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like candy. You give a little bit to a kid and he's going to go crazy for a couple hours.
Right.
But long term, it's not going to be healthy for him. And I think, we're talking about azalea tone. There are certain needs for each plant.
Yes.
Azaleas, blueberries, rhododendrons all need a little bit more acidic stuff. Or there's little things that you said that you put in, you tweak a little bit for each of those plants. And these products address those individual plants. So you may look at the label and say, okay, the fertilizer is roughly the same numbers, but there are the other things that are in those bags that help as well.
Yeah, you get into the secondary nutrients, the calciums, the magnesiums, the sulfur, for instance. The azalea tone that's here, it's got 5% sulfur in it that we've added to help, the acidity with your soil. And I've, even talking to Baumans and their staff, we talked a little bit about them growing things here and their blueberry and the importance of getting the acidity of your soil down. I mean, even though we're acidic, they actually prefer even a little bit more. And depending on where you're at, if you're even in a more neutral spot, this is going to help drive down that soil pH. And I think a lot of people misinterpret the difference between fertilizing and driving pH. So there's something that happens when you're driving pH down as well, is it actually makes the nutrients less accessible to your plant. It locks up those nutrients. So we're going to circle back and talk about those beneficial microbes again. That's going to help then unlock the P that's in your soil, that's just sitting there. Usually 30 to 33% of our nutrients are all just sitting there locked up in the soil. I know it's a lot. So again, adding that beneficial microbes in there to start, they essentially eat it and they digest it. It's just like our stomach. So that's the importance of looking at a specific fertilizer for a family. Our tomato tone has 8% calcium. So again, it's tweaked just the littlest bit to kind of end around on things like blossom end rot. Calcium does the same thing for plants as it does for us, which it builds strong structure, builds strong bones. So if you're growing beefsteak tomatoes, you want to make sure you got an arm out there, to hold that up. Because, if you have these little weak, limbs and things, you're going to have to be able to do a lot of staking and tying and propping up. So, yeah, each one, like I said, has been, it's nothing we've brewed up in our garage, I tell people. This has been tweaked over time. This recipe right here actually has been around since 1949.
Wow.
So it was this the holly tone, azalea tone recipe here. was the second product that we came up with from a request. But we really were the first one to come up with an acid-loving plant food in the United
Wow, it's
States.
amazing
So,
that there's a
yeah.
product around that long. It must
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. So we were talking about blossom end rot, and people love tomatoes. And if you get those
Yeah.
little black spots on the bottom of your tomatoes, that's blossom end rot most of the time. And that calcium helps alleviate that problem. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I was just going to say, you know, we're all excited about plants. We want to put pretty plants in, and we want that beautiful color, and we forget about how to attain that. And so it's so important to fertilize correctly, and give them that best success that they can have. And it's like, I know that people think, oh, it's too much science and all that, but really it's so important. And you've made it really interesting, I think, and easy to understand.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that if people get to over the years, they look at synthetics or things like that that says, oh, don't fertilize when it's too hot, or, you know, you'll burn your plant, or, oh, I can put too much down, I'll hurt my plant. When we start flipping this on its head and saying organics, you know, ultimately you're feeding the soil that's feeding the plant. You know, that 100% of this is used by the soil and the plant. You're not having, you know, runoff, you know, things like that where you have issues when you're next to water. That we're really doing the best that we can for our planet. You know, we're safe for our kids, we're safe for our pets. I kind of joke sometimes because people will go, oh, is this safe for my dog? And I said, yeah. I go, what about my kids? and, you know, it's
Suggest our kids don't eat it. But, you know,
yeah, it's safe for everybody. So you know.
said it built strong bones.
Don't try this at home, kids. So I think really when it comes down to it, like, we want to know where our food's coming from. We want to make sure our food is safe. We want to make sure our yards are safe, and you know what we're doing, and that we're leaving you know, our planet a better place. So ultimately, that's our mission. You know, by being 100% solar powered as a facility. As you know, using packaging that's made from sugarcane, you know, things like that we do as initiatives to make sure that we're doing the best
And your
thing.
facility is like solar, there's a huge solar power.
Yeah, we're 100% actually.
Yeah.
Since 2010, we pretty much flipped the switch, and everything that we produce as a company is from 100% solar power.
Wow.
And I like the packaging also because it's waterproof.
It is.
Yeah.
Right, so it can be out where it's, you know,
Yeah.
you leave it out in the rain and it's not that, it's resealable.
Yes.
If you forget about it out in the rain.
Right,
That too.
which I've done, but it's, and it, you know, it's attractive packaging, but it's also,
Right.
you know, there's a lot that has gone into the thought as
And
making
you
sure
know,
that lasts.
I think a lot of people forget too, there's difference even in organic materials. And we were just talking about, you know, synthetics. And synthetics, for people that are listening and watching, those are like chemically produced. A lot of times they use petroleum products, that kind of stuff, to create fertilization products. But even organic stuff, there's a wide range of organics. And you guys, like I said, 95 years, that something must be working, right? I mean, so not just organic things, but you also have a line of soil products that are out there. And we were talking about Garden Answer.
We were,
and which
yeah.
is a wonderful person that lives here in Oregon.
Yes.
And she has tried your products, and she wholeheartedly endorses them. So.
Yeah, so that was a funny story is that, you know, her parents own a garden center, and they had the line of Espoma fertilizers in their store. And so really how it came about is they were selling them, using them, and then, you know, we see her on, you know, Facebook or whatever, and I say it was organic, how it came together. But what we love about Garden Answer and the rest of our social media influencers and people that we use are that most of them all have come about because they were already using and loving our products. So they're not somebody that's just out there going to go, oh, hey, you know, I'm using this because they told me to. It's really because they believe in the products and they use them. So you'll see Biotone Starter plus a bunch, you know, on with Laura at Garden Answer and the rest of our products. She uses a lot of Hollytone because they're super alkaline over there where they're at. So you'll also see the Land and Sea that's in front of us. I think, like Brian was saying, as soon as he had put it on his social media channels last year, Facebook, Instagram, that was being stocked in the store, it was like an all-out bull run. Wow. You know, and they've sold pallet after pallet after pallet here. And again, you know, those are return customers. I have been at events where women have come up to me and said, I'm never gonna use another compost. So, you know, that right there just solidifies, you know, hey, you know, yep, she's using it, she loves it, but the consumers that, you know, have found it here, they're using it and they love it as well.
You know,
so.
And the soil is, you know, say in the last 5 years that you guys have gotten into soils. What makes, you know, there are a lot of soils out on the market. You know, anywhere you go, everybody's got their own soils.
Sure.
So, you know, what makes the Land and Sea so great? I mean, your fertilizer line is, everybody knows that's wonderful, and this is newer, but.
Right, yeah, so we go out the same way as our fertilizers. You know, you're gonna find an organic soil. We do add endo and ectomycorrhizal fungi to our soils and the compost as well. So that's super important to us. You know, when you're planting, you want the plant to have the best start possible. And the best start possible is building the best roots, you know, the roots and the plant is possible. So, you know, you'll find that in all our green bag potting soils. You're gonna find that in the compost as well. So that's probably what sets us aside from, you know, a lot of people. They usually don't include endo and ectomycorrhizal fungi in their soils. So we just feel like we're selling success. Ultimately, yeah. You know, every one of us wants a gardener to be successful and to be able to get better and hone their craft and keep going and just, you know, whether it be house plants or, you know, anything else. So
because, you know, we've all made the investment and, you know, spent good money
right.
on the plants to start with.
Yep.
So why not spend just a little bit more to ensure that you're going to keep those looking nice and that they keep going.
Right.
A $40 hole for a $20 plant, I think, is what we've all, in the industry, we've all talked about. Because you're talking about if you put it in, or you use just regular soil, sure, you know, the organic fertilizers are going to help it. But really what gives it the best chance of success is if you use one of those organic soil amendments as well. Because I think here, especially with the clay, we need to have a little bit more helping hand for those plants. Otherwise, you're just sitting it in a clay pot in the ground, which is what a clay soil does, and it holds that water, and that plant is not going to...
Turns into a soup bowl.
Yeah, and so...
I mean, ultimately, it's a soup bowl.
Right. The roots rot out, and then they dry out real quick because they can't expand.
And I always say, you know, whatever size hole you probably dug, it needed just to be way bigger. And it's funny how people are like, all right, the pot's this big, you know, no, we need to give it as much room to get those roots out there, because you're right. I mean, it hits the side of that clay and then it pretty much, you know, has nowhere to go. So the bigger, you know, better opportunity it has to be able to put roots out, and as the roots get out, they get stronger and to penetrate and seek the nutrients in food. So
you are such a great educator, and you're going to be here at GardenPalooza at Bauman's, aren't you?
I will be. Yes, I'll be out here all day. So I'm really excited about that. We'll have Biotone starter samples as well.
Oh, that's
so,
great.
You know, for anybody that hasn't tried it, I promise not to shake my finger at you, but we will have samples out there for people that want to give it a try. So.
You could do your own experiment. Bauman's is doing a buy one, get one free perennial. Right. You get some of the starter, you put it in with one pot, you could actually see how well it performs.
I tell people that a lot, you know, and you can't even imagine how many photos I get back. Oh, cool. Like, you know, I'm like, here, you know, you're buying plants, start one with one and none with the other. And we're just flooded with just people going, oh my gosh, you know, it's got a 4-week head start, you know, comparatively to the other guy that we did not use it on. So yeah, it's I've got plenty of those.
Well, it's a great testimony. I mean,
It is.
that's what you want. You want
Yes.
to have that success, and then you see it, you're a believer then, for
Right.
sure, forever.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just, you know, the products and, you know, coming and seeing Carla. If you can't make it to GardenPalooza, these products are available at almost all independent garden centers around the country. If you can't find one, I would question their commitment. No, really, I'm sorry.
Where are you shopping for plants?
My boss already questions that, so please don't throw me under the bus.
I guess I
right
just
now,
lost a
so.
lot of advertising.
But you know, and people that don't have a garden, you have a big indoor line too for
We do, yeah.
helping them be successful indoors also.
Yeah, we're gearing up for outside, and I think a lot of people, you know, in the wintertime have house plants, and they almost kind of
Yeah,
switch
of course,
gears,
yeah.
you know, because we're going out there. But yeah, we have a fantastic liquid line. So as your house plants are kind of breaking dormancy and getting ready to start growing, it's time. So it's go time. So yeah, look for our indoor violet, orchid, our bloom, and our grow products that are all carried. Again, in most places you'll find our granulated fertilizer. You're going to find our liquids as well.
So if people want to get more into the science,
Yes.
or want to see the full line of products, what's the website they can go to?
They can go to www.espoma.com.
How simple.
Yeah, we actually even have a plant finder, so you can type your plant in and it'll pop up and tell you what fertilizer to use.
Oh,
So
okay. That's
there's
wonderful.
all kinds of really cool resources on there that you can, you know, if you've got questions or want to know more, there's videos about the fertilizers and how to use. So yeah, it's a great resource.
Excellent. Speaking of resources, Ryan, former retail owner, now plant guru, traveling the nation. Judy, you know, works at a retail setting for, I don't even want to talk about how long. And Carl and I go back. We were on the Association of Nurseries. We were in the chapter. We were both running the chapter for a while. So Carla's been in the industry. We also worked retail before she got into
Yeah.
distribution. So when these guys say that these products work, it's because we've all kind of been exposed to it and we've seen it actually happen. So if you can make it out to GardenPalooza, stop by, say hi to Carla, and take a look.
Love to
Check
see
out, check out all these wonderful Espoma products. Be sure to check out the GardenPalooza website for that coupon that they're going to be partnering with Bauman's Farm and Garden on that. And we just hope to all see you there. Please go to GardenPalooza.com for more information. If you live in the Portland metro area, Salem, Eugene, the coast, come see us on April 1st. We'll be here all day. Once again, thanks to Bauman's Farm and Garden, Capital Subaru, Al's, Portland Nursery, Dramm, all our sponsors that are helping out with this. And we hope to see you on April 1st. Thanks, everyone, and happy gardening.
For 75 years, Al's Garden and Home has been a favorite destination of local gardeners. Starting in a small roadside fruit stand off of 99E in Woodburn by Al Biggie, Al's has grown to 4 retail locations in the Portland metro area that also includes a huge growing operation near Hubbard. To ensure that you get the highest quality, Al's grows over 80% of the plants they sell. This 4th generation family-owned business is now one of the most recognized garden centers in the country. Stop by one of our 4 locations to learn why Al's is the first stop for Northwest gardeners.
Here at Capital Subaru, we are family. From you, our customers, our coworkers, and even our actual family members work here. This is my son, Casey. We're generations ahead of the competition, and we're always working to keep you and your family moving.
We're here for you. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
All the support you need, from sales and financing to service and parts. We'll be here for you for generations to come.
And generations after that.
I'm Blake.
And I'm Casey. We make it easy to join our Capital Subaru family.
Where it's
your way on the Parkway.